as well. But I think his job is to just create enough space for Thompson to go ham again. The question for me right now is, will Thompson be able to dominate from the mid lane as much as he did in the previous games? Because now he's playing versus a real foe, and that's the Templars. Can stand her ground really well and can win this lane, especially no one TA.
Yeah, like could be looking for solo kills early on, and then the ability to exploit the jungle, accelerating very quickly into that timing with Blink Deso. Sumail, Ursa up towards top, and the teddy bear going to be paired up with like either Sax or No-Tail. They're all heading up top. Sax Enchantress, No-Tail Grimstroke with a Thompson Morphling, who will be in that lane up against no one.
No, they're just
Spirit still deciding where he wants to go.
Oh, so it's position 4 Enchantress, actually. I completely disregarded that. It still will be No-Tail Grimstroke 5 and Enchantress 4. Which is interesting. It's not really a position in which Enchantress is played a lot right now. Nothing too weird, but peculiar.
Yeah, definitely a rarity nowadays. Down bottom, mid one Pango with solo Shadow Demon as the Zayat's Doom is being scattered out by Sumail up top. I think I got everyone. I don't think I missed anyone out. Oh, Resolution Vengeful Spirit. My apologies, Rezo. How dare I forget? Giving the old chicken
out here. Yeah, they see him. They know what's up. Overall, they're staying here just to get this rune and maybe get some kills. They knew exactly how the lanes are going to be set up.
The battle begins.
No-Tail.
He's still trying to guard the runes there. Mid one will grab both down south, as it looks like Ember Spirit and Shadow Demon still were very tentative as Resolution top. Chased down as Sumail going for the Earth Shock level 1. Makes Rezo burn through a little bit extra regen.
Will they go again here, or will they just run back? Okay, Sumail will just run back.
Solo. Forced to disrupt down bottom. Sax are going to give him the old spears to the back of the head.
Put that on to Ember, man. That's another one with music. I like that. So you have
all at the same time.
Yeah, we should. Someone should do that. Someone should definitely do that. You have a Blightstone here on the Enchantress. You have Orb of Venom on the Pango. These two can be very problematic. And you're playing Ember. You can't really go for Flame Guard in this lane because of the Enchantress. You were talking about her ability to take off Necro's Shroud. She can do the same to Flame Guard of Ember.
Super obnoxious. Saxa grabbing up the Hill Troll Priest. The clicks are coming from Solo. Doesn't have any additional. Saxa down now. With a few body blocks here and a Fairy Fire in the hands of the Enchantress, still going for it as
Courier.
Oh, we're gonna get a long range hit. Down goes the Drodo. Salve gone. While that's all happening, mid one trading hits with RTW, forced to salve up. Fango having a decent time.
On the top lane as well.
Mid lane going.
Mid lane, so far, TA is doing really, really well. Oops. Yeah.
We look away for once. I look away from. I'm sure the observer caught it.
Yeah, Saxa was really playing on the edge. Top lane, Rezo. He might die as well. Let's see.
And 3 stacks of Fury Swipes. No-Tail on a couple of seconds for that Stroke of Fate, but it's just a little jump forward from the Ursa. They do get the off-laner.
And there we got that one. These lanes can be very volatile. Like we said earlier, Blightstone, Venom, and Enchantress and mid one. And then on top lane as well, you just have so much damage. Now when Doom has the Wolf Aura, this lane becomes scary for OG too.
Solo, again, kind of using this disruption aggressively to chip away at people, and a great slight change from LTW. So a lot of damage onto OG, but the dive is there. Mid one under tower. Might be able to pressure LTW a little more as well. That creep wave causing a few problems.
And that was a single pull from Solo as well, right? I didn't check if maybe Saxa was responsible for that pull. I don't think he was. So
more Zayats up at top. Sumail gonna try and jump away from the stuns. Great ink spell, No-Tail charging it up and going straight for the Venge as that Scorched Earth just allowing the Doom to get a little bit of distance away from OG.
So one thing that's peculiar as well on top lane is that Vengeful needs to go for a stun, right? You're on off lane. You can't afford yourself to go 0-4-4 like they usually do right now on Venge. But it's still pretty solid, I think. Well, you won't contribute as much in the mid game because you won't have that big aura and big minus armor, but it will still be fine. You'll be able to lane properly.
Gives you some way to at least try and disengage away from this Inkswell. 24-9 TA. That's a great lead over the Topson Morphling right now. No one. Spectacular start as down bottom, mid one, very low. Still gonna go and give chase to RTW. He loses his life first. And now a Sleight of Fist with the Ember Spirit having no regen left. Salve there, given over to him though, and now Sax is the one in trouble.
Top lane, they killed both of them.
Sumail has fallen as well, while Sax is still dancing through the trees. So what's he got? Disruption in the second. They've got the slight chains, holding Disruption for the very last second. Try and make sure they claim this kill. A few more hits will do the trick. And Virtus Pro, great laning stage start from them across the board.
Yeah, they just got 4 kills on 2 sides in a span of a minute. On top lane as well. Really, this Doom, he found the ultimate creep for this lane because he's just playing with so much damage. He has plus 21 at this point.
Yeah, it's rare we see so much aggression on both side lanes at once. There's Rezo, he will pain with his life this time. Somehow there with Inkswell, still dies to the Rezo illusion with Zayat. And you said it, there's Alpha Wolf right now. It's doing so much work. It's a double kill for Doom.
That's crazy.
Zayat is just slicing and dicing, brings the fiery blade from hell and destroys OG in that top lane.
This is just such a crazy lane, man. You're playing versus so many auras, so much damage, plus the wave of terror. You just you don't even realize how hard they hit you until they actually start with that wave of terror. And also, Ursa and Notil, they just TP'd top, so they can't even get to the lane. Now they have to run together, holding their hands.
The walk. A walk of shame.
Saksa bottom lane, it looks like he'll get out. He has his heal level 1 now, so he can work with that. Top lane, however, Ursa did go completely into the jungle, guys. He's had enough of this lane. Maybe with this level 4 he can come back, but this just gets harder. Rezo is level 4, Zayat is level 5.
Gonna start double jungling in a second. Here comes yet another dive under tower though. No tail, loses half of his HP. Zayat, a couple of stick charges, but the Fury swipes are dangerous. And Rezo's been left to his own devices now. Quick little Phantom's Embrace, Resolution. And this will be the end of him, I think. Nice little stun will stop the advance of Sumail, but he's got another Earthshock, and that Stroke of Fate slows him down just enough. Sax's arrival doesn't really change anything there. He will come in to potentially get a bit more damage done if, you know, VP returned to this lane.
He's taking a bounty as well, right? Because no one took it. Usually you save this bounty for your mid laner because he has a bottle, but actually no one does not have that, and because of that he didn't go for it. On the top lane now, Zayat has a full bracer completed, but the Enchantress is coming from behind. This might be a full turnaround on the top.
Yeah, it looks like it already. Early aggression. Sumail's lost a lot of his HP, and with Inks not landing, it's dangerous now for OG. Wand is forced out, but at least now with Saxa and Notel clearing through the Doom, a trade back for Resolution. 1 for 1. Position 4 for position 4.
Yeah, he sadly couldn't devour the creep, right? Because the creep...
Bottom, mid one. He's going to get caught by Solo. They've got another chains just to make damn sure that a killing spree into the hands of the Shadow Demon will come.
No one using the Seb against them. Top lane again.
They're going for more. Okay then, Resolution. How are you getting out of this one? Slipping out? No, absolutely not. Inkswell with the bear is a mighty combination. Even though your illusion's left.
So you had a really good laning stage. You had a really good couple of kills. If you're Venge and Doom, you need to chill out a little bit and go to this lane together. Because Vengeful without the Doom doesn't really work, and Doom without the Venge also suffers. One good thing for Venge though is, even though he died, he just got 4 CS. He still continued farming with his spirit, so he does care obviously because he's not getting those levels, but in the grand scheme of things he is getting closer to his Dominator.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
TA now in the jungle, farming very quickly, 3,500 net worth up. Morphling's not too far behind though. Topson is definitely keeping pace here. A little surprised that, you know, VP not putting a hero mid while TA farms jungle, but I guess they need to keep these dual lane side lanes in action the way that OG are playing.
Yeah, you really have to. Maybe you could actually let LTW solo lane down bot, but the top lane needs to stay together. This Vengeful Spirit can punish their tier 1 so fast and so hard. I think it might fall in the next couple of minutes, maybe right now actually.
Sending out that defensive remnant. I don't know if it will save him. Great little slide dodge of that rolling thunder. And RTW's carved himself a path into the trees and now off to the west, but slowed by Sax.
Disruption.
Mid one, Sumail, No Tail. Everyone here from OG. Disruption buys a second at time, but it's not enough to keep the Ember alive. Now Zayat in onto mid one. He's got no mana left. 11-1 charges, but swashbuckled down for 5 seconds. And TA with the traps will slow him down. Mid one. Oh, the wand into swashbuckle. He's not going to get away from the final projectile flying through the air.
Did they forget about Sumail? It looks like they didn't, but he's going so deep into the trees.
Solo dodging away from all those strokes of fate that No Tail is fake pumping. And there's the kills. 3 for No Tail. And Sumail still in the trees, like you're saying, he's been left completely alone.
Yeah, he managed to get out.
Picnic in the forest. Oh, hello. No Tail's been found by Ember Spirit. No, I'm not going to get denied by creeps. Nice little spill off the side blaze by no one.
So many skirmishes. Sumail, Zaz, bottom lane?
That's the thing, you say there's so many skirmishes, it's not done. Zayas is fighting Sumail, we had Venge fighting the Enchantress top, while No Tail's dying behind tier 2 near that mid lane.
Mid one, he's going... Yeah. He knows there's no Doom, right? So because of that, he can try and poke the Doom a little bit, but... yeah, but he doesn't really have that damage. He goes back into the lane.
It's actually Commentator for Venge is pretty close, and so's the Deso of TA. VP are going to hit this timing real hard.
And you talk about this timing on the other side, you have Sumail who's going for the Battle Fury. And now Battle Fury does not make you... It's not an anti-mage Battle Fury in which you have to continue farming for the next couple of minutes until you get, let's say, a Manta. You can fight with it, but it definitely isn't as active as some other options that you could have gone for.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen, you know, like the drums into Battle Fury or something like that. A little stopgap item first that lets you fight with your team. OG are coming in, breaking high ground, smoked and hunting, looking for the Templar Assassin, but mid one's off the mark. That's what 250 ping will do for you. As OG now on the retreat, no Tail and no one. Facing off against each other, but VP, they are thirsty for blood. Can they catch any of the stragglers? It looks like the Grimstroke might be the target of choice. As Rezo thinks about going for the stun, he has a swap as well. Mid one in the pit. As RTW looking to finish him off. No Tail does get found. A swashbuckle to the high ground. Now a remnant forward. But mid one's going to expend his Rolling Thunder as that nice little get out of jail free card. And OG lose their position 5.
It's really good that LTW didn't go in, because if he goes on that high ground, he's also facing Morphling. And I think he was maybe worried that Topson could morph into him, chain him, and just counter kill instead. And they take down the tier 1.
Especially if he lands onto the Rolling Thunder with the Remnant. So OG smoke, they lose a hero. VP now smoking, getting scanned by OG. See if they can have a little more success. Looks like a bit of a warding mission.
Topson is the closest one. They caught him.
To Topson with a disruption. What's your plan with the stuns now? Zayat's closes the gap with a Doom onto Morph, but he's got his strength Morph off. Shifting attributes as the net onto Doom will catch Zayat. No one. Okay, that Melt Strike is some pretty hefty damage. But OG are here with numbers.
Yes, but that's very interesting from Rezo. He doesn't go for these crazy swaps. Usually whenever I see a Vengeful Spirit played on a core position, you're not that scared of using swaps aggressively and dying, because you still do have the spirit afterwards, right? So you're contributing to fights even if you put yourself to death. So maybe they could have gotten that Morphling kill with an extra swap and some additional hits. He decides not to. That's also a safer option, and you are waiting for the vessel on Ember, so it's understandable.
And I love it when we get to this point in the game where, you know, teams are pretty evenly matched, the drafts are coming to fruition, and everyone's just trying to find that little edge. Smoke into smoke into smoke into kill onto Rezo. OG will get the upper hand. The past 3 or 4 minutes has really just been chain smoking to get that little bit of momentum going. As Sumail, low HP, LTW. He's meant to do that. I think he's messed up his remnants a bit there, and he'll pay for it. Sumail still alive, cutting through trees. Quelling Blade again? No, not quite. Hellbear Smasher there to secure him up. And Shadow Demon left to his own devices. He will be sacrificed here by VP.
Well, TA's here. No one has came.
That's a big melt strike and a side blade hits. Looking for no tail. 2 hits. How many? Is it going to be enough? Not quite. Needed 3, not 2. I'm bad at counting. Matters hard.
He needed that meld for no tail. He didn't have the damage without the meld. The minus armor as well. That wasn't quite enough. But it's funny, I was talking about the Rezo spirit that comes into the play after he's dead. It's the Hellbear Smasher this time around that came in and got him the kill onto the Ursa. But one thing that Virtus.pro isn't doing is playing around this Venge. Usually teams do that because of this sick aura in the mid game.
I just wonder what happened there, because ILTW definitely like remnanted towards the left-hand side of the map somewhere. But then he came straight back in, so it must have been a misclick ever so slightly off.
So it's either a misclick or the remnant was really close to the place where Venge was dying, right? Maybe he thought, okay, if I go there, I die anyway. But
under attack.
See, TA. Get that blink dagger and a couple of 100 gold.
Yeah, the remnant was definitely there around the outpost, so he would have been caught in the arms of your Pango, your Grimstroke +1. So.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Good shout by the observer. Stun mid. Thompson will find resolution pretty simply. Halfway towards that Eagle Song for the Ethereal Blade. They're hunting for the Venge Illusion. Thompson shifts into Vengeful Spirit mode, and with Wave of Terror, considering Roshan, Virtus.pro are in the area.
So some of these...
something worth mentioning as well, right? Is VP with a TA lineup pretty reliant on getting that first Roche.
And they also get it so easily. You're playing with TA, with Wolf Aura, with Vengeance as well. So you take it down so quickly. I think what they're really waiting for is this vessel and the Blink Dagger on TA, which has arrived. Right now it should be your big power spike. And the smoke, there it is.
Are scanning.
Rezo up at the front. Zayat, phase boots, windlace. He's pretty speedy. Who is the Doom target here for Zayat? Is it just the first person he sees, or is he actively aiming for the Morphling, for example?
I think it's most likely the Pango that you want to Doom most of the time, but if Morphling is out there, he's a pretty damn solid target too. The thing is, Pango brings the most to the teamfight of OG, and he makes everything click. If Pango is out, you can't really have a solid teamfight.
Here comes mid one. Rolling Thunder with the Ink Swell, just about gets the double connection. Now trying to get himself out of there though, as mid one swashbuckles back to high ground. No one's ready waiting for him though, into the waiting arms of the TA as they soul bind her up with the Ember Spirit. The chase is on VP. They want additional targets. Ink Swell again from No Tail, but the chains from RTW will connect and keep the Grimstroke held in place, but the chase, where is it? Meld Strike, final touch, no one will be able to clear him up.
That's it again, Rolling Thunder used with the Ink Spell, but he was a bit too deep, and you could see instantly no one recognizes the target, jumps in the back, and forces them to back out completely. And this is Roche. Look at how fast that falls. It's 17 minutes Roche, but it's just disappearing, it's melting.
Very quick from VP. It's just like the speed at which VP are choosing targets, like you're saying, the fact that TA is going straight into backlines while the Doom and the Venge, you know, causing havoc at the front. So
because he's not afraid of anything, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. If he sees Inkswell used on the Pango, he's free. He can do whatever he wants to.
OG gathering up together. Morphling, Grim, and Pango. They desperately want a kill, but I just don't feel that no one's the target to go for.
They do have some big power spikes coming up, right? There is the E-Blade on Thompson. So after that, he actually has it completed. Now you have that Soulbind E-Blade. Now you can go for some great kills.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Saxa. Let's see if no one can finish him off with one meld strike. Oh, it's close, isn't it? Tick down the hill. Now the Rolling Thunder. No one has to give up on the kill while the E-bladed After Strike on to Solo. Trying to disrupt the Morphling. Still E-bladed up, and now they've got the Doom coming in with no one focusing forward. But the Rolling Thunder's causing havoc. Rezo in from the back, and the Soulbine's there. Somehow up on the high ground. Doom, he does fall down. Now Sumail claps himself up there, but there's a high ground reserve water. VPC the bear and rages up. Come at me! Destroy. No, I'm going to jump down. I want out of here. Melt strikes galore from no one, clearing up Sumail as the Rezo with RCW swapping back and forth and earning up, but Thompson forced the waveform back in, but this is going to open him up now, as the Ember Spirit still has some spells up his sleeve. Ink swell onto Thompson, but he's getting waveformed away from. Aegis still in the hands of TA, means she has that second life, as the waveform again. Thompson doesn't want to retreat, he wants to go in, he wants kills, and Solar will give him one, but has this left Thompson isolated. Push back with the strength, adaptive strike, and there it is. Thompson down for 45 seconds, and VP utilizing this Aegis beautifully, as ILTW just wants more and more. He's a greedy boy.
Yeah, what a player, Thompson, right there. I think he did prove a point that you need to doom him, even though I still think he's not the right target. If you doom the Pango, everything is easier because they don't have that control. You don't have any BKBs on Virtus Pro right now, and because of that, you are really vulnerable to the Rolling Thunder. If you get that out of the equation, the game is easier. But man, Thompson does so much. He just does so much.
They're trying again, OG. Aegis, still plenty of time. 2.5 minutes here for no one. Again, not the target you really want to be going on. The traps, trying to slow down No Tail. No one.
Disarmed.
Be able to find him.
Gotcha.
And Morphling slipping in from the left-hand side.
No one.
There. They will be able to Inkswell stun him, and this might be the 2 deaths of the TA, but VP, they're coming through to try and force the fight. Soulbind onto Ember and Doom, the TA still up and running. There's a half of HP gone as she refracts up, but that's obliteration as no one falls. Rezo with Zayat and LTW, how much damage can they do? Because Thompson is shredding them. Little by little, the damage from the Morphling comes through, and a triple kill for you. Morphling, he wants more. Ultra kill for Thompson, where is it? It's an Inkswell steal from No Tail. Solo, the position 5 Shadow Demon, is digging kobolds out of the ground, but I don't know how long he's going to get away with that, because mid-one is chasing him all the way across the map.
Disruption mid-swashbuckle, so he doesn't hit. That's what's cool. And Morphling is coming, though, and he doesn't have a TP, so he's hasted. Yeah, Solo. He won't be long. Yep. I don't know what no one was doing there. He was very, or I should actually say, I don't know why his team didn't follow him up. They were chasing the same targets, they were moving into the same position, but suddenly no one is alone and his team kind of abandoned him, went all the way to the stairs down south. Because of that, no one dies so easily the first time. The second time it was a bit harder, but he's still out of position and they take him out. Some notable plays there were really the Centaur stun from the Dominator of the Vengeful Spirit, and then also Enchanter stealing that Centaur and using her own stun a few times.
Your 11k net worth TA just sitting on enemy high ground pretty much in that triangle. VP don't have that overwhelming teamfight force, you know, they don't have the big reset tool, the big ulti. It's really down to like swap and disruption, and that's, are you in range? Are you ready there to save your TA?
They are really strong when they're all together and when they can utilize all these auras that buff each other up. That's when they're really strong, but OG, they've hit their power spike. The E-Blade is there, the Yasha is there on Morphling.
They now know they're fighting this TA who has no Aegis. Swashbuckle forward with the Inkswell. Disruption does buy time for Rezo. Virtus Pro, they want in. Slide chains onto 2. They've doomed up mid-one now, so no Rolling Thunder. And that'll be the end of the Pangolier, but Thompson is in the back lines, dominating VP, chasing the TA. And they've got reveal, they do. They see the TA. No one's down. Renan in from RFW, but what's he got left? 21 charges. Slide, no. He can't cast spells because he's silenced. He's dead.
He's under attack.
There is nothing.
Can they catch Zayats as well? I don't think so. He has that blink to work in 5 seconds, but Thompson is on a run. He's actually chasing.
In the space of 3 minutes, Lizzard, we've had a team wipe from OG. Now 4 heroes destroyed. OG are on a tear right now.
And it's all about that E-Blade when it came online, right? It's the E-Blade, the Vlads, and the Makov, the Pango that completely change everything. The problem is, you really have to doom the Pango because you don't have your BKBs. And also, why did Virtus.Pro choose to have that fight when TA was like 50 gold away from the BKB? If you finish that, the game and the team fight runs a completely different tempo. You can actually play freely with that TA, but that was peculiar too.
Yeah, usually when you're taking fights in that area, it's very specifically for you want Roshan or you want to be able to go take the tier 2s. I guess it's the latter option. They want to be in the dire jungle as this Radiant team, take tier 2s and try and, in the next 3, 4, 5 minutes, control Roshan.
I still think that was the good Doom target. The way they initiated that fight was right. It's just that they're missing some crucial items. And it truly is the TA that's the only true damage dealer on the side of Virtus.Pro. Ember with his Vessel, 24 minutes in, does not do a lot.
Really do have to gather up and stay together like you've been saying. See this chain of VP heroes all up in that top left corner of the map.
They're buying 2 Vlads, by the way. Zayats is buying Vlads while Venge already has it. They're making some peculiar plays, really.
I mean, what can he change that into? Doom go assault your ass and sell the Bassi, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, you can still...
It's not going to do you much good this game.
You can still adapt to it.
Tower is under attack.
Double damage.
Shown in that mid lane. Holding that DD. Blink stomp into the Doom. What's the saving grace here? OG gonna cape in the sentry's drop. Just in time to find the pick-off onto the Morphling. Now OG full retreat. TP top, TP base, TP home. Get out of there, but disruption and the slight chains. Catching No-Tail and the mid one. Virtus.Pro coming out of the gates. 3 kills in a row. Very nicely done.
Radiant's middle tower is under
They're chasing Saxa as well, but he's glimmered up. He's moving back and he should be fine. Yeah, that was really great from Doom. He also did it right. You jump in with the Centaur War Stomp. Basically, you want to use that Stomp first because it has a shorter animation than the Doom. If you try to Doom the Morphling, chances are he either Strength Morphs or he waveforms away. So getting that Stomp in first was really good. Gets them the kill, and he finishes Vlad. So now they have 2 Vladimirs on one team, which is, yeah,
less than ideal. Jump in from ILTW. Saxa there, glimmer caping. Trying to bounce herself back to high ground, but the 2-man chains into the blink stomp, swap back and no one focusing Ench. While Sumail gets used up during that enrage, trying to waste as much of the duration as possible, and VP do get a Assault kill on the back. Thanks to Thompson, rolling Thunder there, catching Ember Spirit out. Where's the chain stun though? RTW reminiscing towards high ground, but swashbuckling forward is Minbon's Pango, allowing Thompson to... Oh no, he doesn't get the chains. Just slide a fist into Adaptive Strike and that'll do the job just beautifully.
Yeah, I love how both of these Ember Spirits cleaned up the innocent trolls, you know? Like, they both use the Sleight of Fist to try and dodge something, right? LTW does it to try and dodge some spells from the Pango. Meanwhile, you see Thompson using them to try and catch the Ember Spirit, but all they do is kill off the poor, annoying trolls that were just sitting there. But that's Aegis. That's a full Aegis. And again, Virtus.Pro, they're moving and rushing these plays without big spells. You didn't have Doom to use that fight, right? So... was it really your best play there?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It feels like it's a little bit sloppy. No-Tail. I mean, No-Tail trading his life for a BKB charge feels pretty okay if you're OG. You know you've still got plenty of time on that Aegis for the Morphling.
Unless you lose more.
Fight, exactly. It doesn't brew into something deeper. Thompson turns into Doom, Scorched Earth, and sprinting around. Finds Solo in the tree line as mid one. Rolling through Virtus.Pro. So it is a 1-for-1. OG still in this position of power, right? They're on the Radiant side of the map. They've got the relays to farm out, and they're just going to keep giving
Good stomp.
Morphling's there. He's 1 versus 4, and he's being taken down. Aegis gone, but in comes Sumail. He's not played Dota 2 for the past 15 minutes. He's been farming with his Battle Fury, but he's ready to battle now. As Topson did get the E-Blade in onto Zayas. He's Ghost Sceptered and still falling reasonably quickly. As Ember Spirit, with the help of the swap, Doom on the morph, still
the sideways.
but he Glimmer Caves and gets away. Sumail is now 1v2, but a triple for no one. Gets the TA back in the good books of this game.
Yeah, the big boy though, Topson, manages to survive, and I think the part of it is the swap from the Vengeful. He actually swapped the Morphling away from the TA who was blinking on top of the Morphling. So wasn't ideal. They still get 3 kills. Ursa used the cheats, he didn't. So it's not too bad for OG as well, as they were fighting 4 versus 5. 4 versus 4 actually, the Shadow Demon was dead, but they did use the Aegis on the Morphling. Pretty good fight for Virtus Pro overall, regardless, because they are getting closer to their big items. The Hex now is being aimed by no one. That will give them that extra control. Most importantly, that extra instant control versus the Morphling. You can jump in hexing before he morphs.
Solo being annihilated. Might set up something here on the Topson though. Swap back with Magic Missile, triple Remnant, Topson stomped, stunned, Infernal Bladed, and does drop. Dead for 80 as mid-one's Rolling Thunder comes just a fraction of a second too late. VP looking for a little bit more. Now mid-one get himself and bounce out of this dangerous spot. Swashbuckle down south, but no one, and Zayas they're here with a minus armor and the damage to clear through it. Now OG feels like they're in a little bit of trouble. This game has got more swings and roundabouts than a kid's playground. It's going back and forth every minute.
The Hex is completed as well now on the TA. And, you know, there aren't any big items that Virtus Pro has pitches in these last 5 minutes that are completely swinging these team fights. It's just their playstyle and the way they have adapted to the fights. You can see that dooming the Pango somewhere in the mid game was really optimal, but right now again dooming the Morphling that just destroys one target instantly is a better option, and it's helping them quite a lot. And one more thing, you can't hide in your attribute shift strength gain any longer. You can't just morph strength and hide in it. You're playing versus a level 4 Infernal Blade and you have a Vessel on Ember Spirit, so that percentage based damage really hurts.
And also the fact that, you know, you think about switching from agi to strength, you're losing all that armor up against, you know, this Vengeful Spirit TA, so all of that raw HP means less and less up against the Spirit Vessel, Infernal Blade, and the minus armor from Virtus Pro. I think you're absolutely right. You cannot hide in it. That is a swap Hex. Swap into Hex! I've not seen that since VP from 2015. That is beautiful play. Immediate initiation. Down goes the Ursa. And now OG holding high ground.
He doesn't have a buyback, and one upside as well is that this pickoff won't lead into anything way too big. Not quite there yet.
More time. Saxa on this for Enchantress doesn't feel like that, you know, super impactful team fight or ganking hero that we often see Saxa playing.
Especially with the build as
medallion,
well.
But yeah, exactly.
The Glimmer Cape medallion more, it looks like a position 5 Enchantress. Sorry, really. If you went for something like, let's say, a Dragonlance and started hitting people real hard, I would say, okay, that's a position 4 Enchantress Saxa. I could get behind that, but this.
I'm wondering how fast. Oh, hello, Hex with a swap and the minus armor. Does get attribute shift on, but is being doomed, and Topson, he is gone. Immediate buyback from the Morphling now as they turn onto mid-one. Quickly dispatched with the Pangolier. Rolling Thunder will not come out. Solo holding high ground, self-disrupts as OG turns to face up RTW. Uses the air, he's got slight chains and the Remnant to dodge to. It looks like he'll be safe for now as a Soulbind connects him to the Vengeful to the TA, but a stomp from the dieback clears through Topson, and that's the dieback of Morphling. OG have been shredded by VP. Sudden turning of the tables, and Sax is about to lose his life as well. Purge slowed, the trap is there, and a final touch from no one gets him a triple kill for high ground to be broken.
Okay, they have fortification, but the creep wave is coming in for Virtus Pro, and this is 80 seconds without Morphling. You don't defend this. This is a side. This is at least a side, I should say, because they have everything they need here.
Dire's middle tower.
Can't go for...
They're going for drone!
Tier 3s, so they're going to go for tier 4s and throne. Exactly with another minute with no morphling, they know they can do it. The swap Hex again, claiming the bounty, forcing buyback. Sumail has to return to the battlefield now. Resolution taking a pounding from Saxa. But what can Sumail do? Literally, what can he do? The Rolling Thunder going to cave there. Mid one is annihilated. So close to death, kept alive with the Greaves and the one charges. Will be able to roll back in as they find the Vengeful Spirit. Now the Shadow Demon stunned and controlling up RTW as well. Rolling Thunder's doing good work. RTW's in a little bit of trouble, but no one is not. That's the difference maker. TA is in your back lines, picking off hero after hero, and they're diving behind the Ancient.
That's game.
That is game.
That's game right there. What just happened?
I was excited to catch this series, but my God, games 1 through 3. Ladies and gentlemen, what have we just seen?
That was amazing to watch. That was great. Just great dotes. Some crazy moves, some crazy mistakes, some double